Yeah, the explain. Just yeah, just refuge. Yeah, not too much. Get inside to extent, but to extent, of course, I would know, but just not short. But usually given refuge and too short like that. But yeah, so this time to have some in clear understanding. So talk about benefits. How is it incredible? Easy, taking refuge to Buddha. By taking refuge to Buddha, you liberate from you're going to reborn all realms. You know, the example of Deva's son. They're so afraid, because can see, comes from by, can see where you're going to reborn. In India, there's a pig. So scared. This is where he is now. And from past life, where he can remember at the time of death. So, yeah. So by relying on Buddha, then just become free. Just by that. And in the Buddha truth aspect, he's very surprised. And then, prostration Buddha. And then that he was going to be born in India, human being, but extremely most attractive, most charming, most beautiful, most beautiful. Yeah. Business the treasure. It's going to be extreme, most beautiful. Yeah. So take it about. Then I think after that, get rebirth in the devil realm. I think that's what Buddha said. So Buddha himself showed very prized aspect. Yeah. So even just from that story, you have to know the refuge is not just blah, 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 between the lips. You know, if you are chanting, Sangha, chant, not just that, from the heart. It's not an easy thing, yeah. Oh, repeat or something, you know, something more simple. So, you know, I guess for noble truth, understanding excellence, about then the quality of the Dharma Sangha, his whole life. It was a monk's study whole life on the monastery. You have to know that. About refuge. Then what I finished the Buddhist thing, the benefits, wow. Can imagine the benefits of taking refuge. Imagine. What's that? So, yeah, then motivation, just myself achieved liberation from samsara, the nirvana, the everlasting happiness, even not sufficient, not enough myself. And then you see, I must achieve, to omniscience. Total cessation of the describing through obscuration and obscuration to omniscience, so subtle obscuration, and the completion of realization. So that must achieve this. Then sorry, free the numberless sentient beings from the oceans of samsara and bring them to Buddhahood, enlightenment, full enlightenment, by myself alone. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe they are tired when listening refuge. They are very tired. Listening too long on the refuge. Maybe even you're not tired, but maybe they're tired. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so today I got correct. G we. The little girl's name in China. Want to repeat?
Shi Ji Wei.
Yeah, Shi Ji Wei. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, the Lama Zopa said, you see, do they nimi samla mambena? Tawatunya, chijim, mijising. Kunjung kure jugrim masamna, kue zawa chizul misiwe. Siri, ngunjung jishe tebatang. Kwa kenge jingba sheba je. Oh, yeah. So if you don't attempt to think the shortcomings of true suffering, then the seeking liberation from samsara, seeking liberation, won't rise exactly. If you don't reflect, if you don't think the shortcomings of true suffering, then the seeking liberation from samsara, seeking liberation, won't rise exactly. If you don't reflect, if you don't think the shortcomings of true suffering, then the seeking liberation from samsara, seeking liberation, won't rise exactly. the evolution of samsara. Kunjung is the cause of suffering, all rising. All the delusion come upon where all the suffering is. So you don't reflect the evolution, the all-rising samsara, then you wouldn't know how to cut the root of samsara. Therefore, to the renunciation from samsara, the renunciation, the upset mind. So, since I mentioned the upset mind, Jeshe. For example, you see, Jeshe, somebody left the home, somebody was very rich and left home. Somebody who had everything, was in the world, have everything, then he left. You renounce. Then you were the mountains and the cave. You see, the people, people in the world who don't know Dharma, they will think, this person went something wrong with the mind, went crazy, totally crazy, meaningless, totally crazy. He had his beautiful life, everything. What was to enjoy? Left the mountains, cave, with nothing. See? The old people, the numberless people who don't know Dharma, Buddha teaching Dharma. Yeah. Yeah, to be free from all the sufferings, then samsara, to be free from all the suffering, you have to be free from suffering, samsara, you have to be free from delusion karma. You see? So that's the upsetness. Then recognize the upsetness. Then you're able to, is the upsetness? Then you're able to abandon. Then you go in isolation to actualize renunciation. To actualize Buddhist emptiness, full path to enlightenment. Not just only free from samsara, but to enlightenment. You see, So, yeah. So, that upsetness is you see, scarce worthwhile upsetness. Scarce or worthwhile upsetness. Now, you see, oh, now all people think, oh, here's everything. Wow, people love it, here's everything. He loves it. Crazy, completely crazy. Among crazy was crazy. You see, people. Was crazy. Something totally went wrong. Totally went wrong in the mind. You see? So that upsetness, that upsetness is totally, that upsetness, no worth. That upsetness is negative karma. Negative karma. That upsetness is like poison. Poison. You have to, yeah. I say emotion has a negative, positive. Anyway, the emotion, that's positive emotion, negative emotion. Person was extremely devoted, unbelievable devoted, positive emotion. Dharma Sangha, Guru Dharma Sangha. From that devotion, then everything comes. All the realization from Guru Darshan up to enlightenment, everything comes. Greater part of the lower capable, greater part of the middle capable, greater part of the high capable, everything comes from there. So not only achieve freedom from samsara, nirvana, everlasting happiness from samsara, not from that. That's Kasa. Oh, that's poison. That upset this person was practicing Dharma, who left the renunciation, left the isolation to track life path. Oh, that which makes the free from samsara. Not only that, is also achieving enlightenment. Wow, 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 wow. So, all the people themselves, of course, they don't like suffering. But they don't know all suffering. They don't know what suffering or they know is almost nothing. Suffering or they know is almost nothing. Even suffering of pain. No, what they know is almost nothing. The poison. I've said this, Samaro practicing Dharma. That's a poison. That absence poison. No benefit. No benefit to you, no benefit to the world, no benefit to others. Never know that. In England, a long time ago, near Monastery Institute, I think the Rishika was teaching Bodhisattva, I think maybe Shini, I don't know. Yeah. So, what happened? So, some Western person, there were some caves there outside. So some Western person went in the cave to meditate. So then people came from outside. So they were so shocked, so surprised, being in the cave. The Western people, they heard, they came, so shocked. So they look at totally wrong. Her mind looked totally went wrong. They were crazy, maybe worse than crazy, I'm not sure. Yeah, so like that. because life in the West is, I mean, there are some good-hearted people in the West, but otherwise, just everything total opposite. Manner, your body, speech, mind, action, concept, everything is total opposite of Dharma, Buddhist teaching. Oh, that. But of course, that's why Sanghas, that's why the nuns, monks in the West, to become nuns, monks, extremely brave, extremely heroine. Heroine?
Hero and heroine.
Huh?
The man is the hero and the woman is the heroine.
Heroine.
Yes.
Hero, heroine.
Yes.
Hero and heroine. Yeah? So in the West, became monk nun is hero and heroine, not a heroine drug. Of course, then if you involve drug, then you are the other heroine. So, unbelievable. That's an unbelievable encouragement. Unbelievable brave. Wow, wow, wow. You know, generally speaking, in the East, people understand. Live in a cave and, renunciation, understand. And especially in India, even Hindu, many sadhus in the cave. You see, they understand. Yeah, I saw in France, when we were inviting His Holiness Rinpoche to give many Tantra teachings, commentaries, the West. So in France, where we did very much gave teachings, Lambrim, and I don't know what else, initiations. There was cave. One nun lived there 30 years. 30 years. But I don't remember her name. Yeah, many people go there to see. So we went. Then the song came. Yeah, one nun. So there are, but very, very few. Yeah. Yeah. We did a course, Rinpoche gave a course in there's a nunnery. All very, very, very old house. Probably maybe more than 100, probably. Yeah. Rinpoche gave teachings, and to consider Rinpoche translated into English, and then Dija, that time he was a monk, he translated into Germany. But he enjoyed translating in Germany. You can see he's into that. Because the other against him, the consider Rinpoche translated into English. So he enjoys. So anyway, yeah, it's a nun where people come. It's run by nunnery. Some Christian nuns, and when they come to make retreat, I think it's a very, very old house. So I was translating the Chundrawantara with the Jackie, and then I lit some box. On top of the box, I put the candle lined up on top of the box. So that was my first time, so I didn't know that it would burn the box. So I lit it up at the altar, I think maybe one box, two boxes, I'm not sure. Yeah. So later, candle burned more, when the candle burned, when you put two things more close, then they join each other. The flame join each other. Then become big. Then paper start to burn. So I start bring down. Then there was an instant pot with sand to put it. So I could put the sand on top of flame. On top of the flame. Then I put the carpet. There's a carpet, square carpet. I put it on that. That helped. That helped. I don't know what Jacob was trying, but I tried that. The nuns outside, they saw in my room outside the flame, the kind of the reflection, the flame. That's all. So later they came inside, not in the room, but in the hallway. They were just asking. But then there was no fire. Anyway, that's what happened. I was translating 21 Tar prayer. Check. Yeah. Sitting and doing temper. So rely on the renunciation, the absentness. There may be some of the English word, I don't know, probably. Renunciation, absentness, from this the samsaric nature of suffering. So that core can get so what binds, what ties the samsara? What ties? So that to understand the understanding what ties the samsara is the thing. It was extremely important to know that, to know what ties samsara. So what ties you to the samsara? So you're carrying huge rock when it's a fire, hot red when it's fire you're carrying. See? And your body gets burned. But you don't know. But you see, the chain or what do you call it? Not chain. Rope. Yeah, rope. Yes, rope. Yeah. You are suffering. Don't let that suffering. You're suffering, but you don't know why you are suffering. Why you are suffering? The example. You can huge log of wood, one is fire. But you are suffering, but you don't know why you are suffering. What caused you suffer? You don't know. So like that. So that's the example. Was the son? Oh, so all these beings was so we don't know Dharma, we don't know Lamdrim. It's such easy to understand. Such easy explanation. Though you don't know, then you complain, I have this problem, I have that problem, this problem, that problem, oh, I have depression, I have this, my head is sick, my feet is sick, everything's sick. Everything's sick. Every piece you have is sick. My nose is sick, my ear is sick. Truth. So if you tell, your tail is pain. So understanding what ties you sometimes. That's simple. So for example, thorn bush, the thorn bush you're carrying in the next body, thorn bush you carry. So you so much suffering, pain. But you don't know why it's happening. You don't know that because of the rope. That is a rope. No one else. You put the ropes to the thorn bush, carry on you. Yeah, nobody else did. You did by yourself. You see, by ignorance. So now you see that, understand Dharma, learn the Dharma. So emotion. Awakening. Learning Dharma means awakening. Awakening your mind, awakening your life, awakening yourself. Yeah, so that's understanding what ties you sometimes. That is must cherish that. So important to know that. So there's a rope. Yeah, you tie by yourself. Nobody ties you. You tie by yourself. The thorn bush you carry on the backside. Or the logwood one that was fire. You carry with the ropes. Yeah, nobody. You are ignorance. You are ignorance. So, but knowing that, and then, from where you should be liberated. How to liberate you. So, by knowing, because the rope, so you cut the rope, so you don't suffer, carrying the big piece of fire on the backside, or a big piece of the thorn bush on your naked body. So it's cut. You're free, so simple, you see? So if you don't recognize, don't know that, your mind is hallucinating on that, wow, that's how We've been suffering from beginningless rebirth, samsara rebirth up to now. So he's only said that often say, Benjamin said, because of renunciation to the suffering pain. If you, even dog does that, if you, what do you call this?
Stick.
Huh?
Stick.
So if you stick wilder? Huh?
Bit.
If you wilder is okay?
Yeah, you can wield the stick.
If you wield the stick, even the dog run away. Because the dog knows stick, he'll be beaten with stick, so dog run away because he knows that. So suffering pain is even the dog. And then suffering will change, some sort of pleasures. That one, even the Hindus, suffering will change. Suffering will change. Not necessarily only Buddhists, but even Hindus, they know it is suffering. Suffering will change. There's some pleasures. Even Hindus know it's just suffering. There's certain words, but I don't remember the words. That's the meaning. So to rise thought, to recognize the Chapa Duchik Dungan, pervasive compounding suffering. I don't know how others translate, but I try to translate each word. Benjamin Chicken said, who one of the who wrote the Lama Zopa. Kue Nika Sebisul Yang Mangyang Dungalji Mangyang Dungalji Jini Tandu Chulaji. So Benjamin Chicken said, Kue Nika Sebisul, the way of reflecting hundreds of shortcomings of samsara. Mangyang Dungaji. Even there are so many, but being afraid by suffering pain, even the animals have to be free from that, wish to be free from that. So I shouldn't give example. So by wielding the stick to the dog, then the dog run away. The dog knows that from that, by hitting the stick to the dog, they cause suffering. So he ran away from that. Because they want to, because they're hungry, stomach, so they run to look for food. So that's those are the thought rising, rising desire. I mean, free from the suffering, hunger, thirst. Then Pinjano Sigan said, Sakja Throa Devale, Asian Churupain Balangchi. Sakja Throa Devale, Asian Churupalanchi. So the contaminated the pleasure of the feeling, the suffering change, all the samsara pleasures, the contaminated. Contaminated. Yeah, the seed of delusion karma. So contaminated feeling, the from such a thought devali, yijung tripalang cheese. The machine. Renouncing from contaminated feeling of pleasure, that means samsara pleasure. So even the outer beings have non-Buddhist outer beings have. Even they realize that. Yeah. Tena 유지 령신치 냐왈레베 풍보디 눈을 두다 르비네 네단 제다 스무달 니니 겁나 징요라 So what he's saying is, therefore, duji rangshin chi nyawalin pungpati. This aggregates taken by the delusion karma by the compounding nature So these aggregates we have by the nature by compounding nature. So this Nyawalime Pumuti, these aggregates taken by delusion karma. That makes more clear. So this is Dungal to the different. This is the container of Dungal to the different. The experience suffering dual two things, actualized suffering. Actualized suffering and suffering which will be actualized. Then example, disease, I don't know how to translate. Death and sungata, disease and I don't know how to translate. I think the type of disease, I think, sungata like pain. Meaning, not chingalas. By thinking those, minted by thinking those, then chingalas, then I think it helps. I think they will be helped to be free from that, I think. Get renunciation, free from that, I think. Tena duji rangshin ji nyani bungade, dungal chudan tribuna, nedan reda sungada mendego na chingala. Or depends on second said. So, for example, the human beings, this is the six sufferings explained in Lamrim. In the Kathore, in the liberation palm, six sufferings. But in the Lamrim 8 sufferings. So you don't know. Suffering of rebirth, suffering of old age, sicknesses, death. Then the sufferings, experiencing the suffering, experience the suffering. Meeting the suffering, experience the suffering, being devoid of happiness. Because you are meeting the suffering, so therefore you are devoid of happiness. So there are 6 like that experience in the liberation farm. But Lama, in the Lama Chamo, this container of the this aggregate is a Nyali Pumbo. This taken by the received by the Delusion. This I get. Then one more to that. One more to no. So container of the order actualized suffering. So I think what you already experience this life. I think those sufferings. Yeah. And then one more tribute, no. And the next one, one more dubi, no. So container of the actualized suffering and the container of the devil actualized suffering. So I think it means the future, maybe this life, future suffering, and all next life sufferings. which is the continuation of this aggregate experience. So it is so Lama Tsongkhapa way explaining 8 human beings suffering is like ocean. Number tribute, so already extracts. I think suffering pain, suffering change, pervasive compulsive suffering, already experience. This is aggregate. Then the ones you're going to experience, you're not experiencing now, that you will experience in this life. From this next second. So, then also next plural, next lives. So continuation of this aggregate experience. This is like ocean. The Lama Tsongkhapa. Then, yeah. You just said container of the suffering pain. Lama Tsongkhapa presented this way. Container, this I get container of the suffering pain. In the liberation, more goes on the suffering itself. But here now, container of the Lama Tsongkhapa, container of suffering pain. And there's a container of suffering change. There's a container of suffering change. And this is in nature of pervasive compound suffering. There's a container of pervasive compound suffering. So, yeah, pervasive. This aggregate is under the control of delusion karma. So that's why this aggregate is pervaded by suffering. Pervaded by suffering. So from the lost hell, lost of the hell, suffering, lost of the hell, suffering, unbearable suffering state. Unbearable suffering state. What is called? What is the other translate? Bijana or something. The lost, the heavy suffering of the hell. What's it called? Other translate. Bijana or Bijana. Huh? Biji. Huh? What? Relentless torment. Relentless.
Relentless means never ending, and torment is torture of the worst kind. So never ending torture of the worst kind.
Yeah, never ending torture.
Of the worst kind. Torment.
Never ending torment.
Relentless torment, yes.
Relentless torment.
It never stops and it has no end. Relentless.
relentless torments.
Relentless.
Relentless torments. Okay. So, from formless realm, then desire, down, relentless torment. Oh, all aggregates under the control of delusion karma. So all cover prepared by suffering. Everything. All the aggregates from formalism down to relentless but torture. Torment. Or under the kasara. Wow, the kasa, prevented by suffering. Under the control. So from there you understand to be free from suffering, to be free from something means you have to be free from delusion karma. You have to seize the delusion karma. Yeah, the seed of that. You have to see the root of delusion, king of delusion, ignorance. You have to recognize. Then you can recognize. In emptiness. Yeah, there's such as there are many logics in the mathematics, but the king of the logic, dependrizing. This I, sentient, and the basis. This I is none truly existent. Why? Because it is dependent arising. So that dependent, that's the king of the logics. Rivijawa, tensing. So then with that, then you realize, that it's empty. Do not exist from its side. It exists in the mere name, mere level of our mind. So that's how it's dependent. So, dependent rising. So do not exist at all from its own side. So that's how it is unified. Dependent rising and emptiness. So the end of the control of delusion karma. So, from formless down to the relentless torment. Torment, relentless torment, So, all aggregates prepared by suffering. And contaminated seed of delusion and karma. So from the seed, again delusion rises, again suffering rises. So that's why kappa dujigdwa. So progressive compounding suffering. Okay, yeah, so maybe we stop here. Goodbye. Okay. All right. So that means you see. So those two others, not particular special Buddhists. And so this one, Professor Kamara Sabram, is the one that Buddhist, this man suffering, the Buddhist, is the only Buddhist. Only Buddhist can renounce, can realize this, can realize, renounce. When you renounce suffering of pain, suffering of change, and suffering of pain. All that happens. It's amazing this. If you have suffering, if you renounce this, if you have renunciation of this, then you have renunciation of others. You have to know that. So the other, even the other religion, Hindus or other, they don't. This one, they don't have marriage to know this one. Progressive compound suffering. They have no marriage to know this thing to renounce, to be free from. So, they do that. So this is only Buddhist who recognize this, who renunciate to be free from this. Then from this, then nature, the two others. Renunciation, of course. Okay, so we will stop there. All right. That is very important. 제가 도시에 ranshiji nyawali kumbude. Dunga chudang chubine, nedang chedang sungada, minne kumna jingyala. Benjablo chigen so So Nepal wadiga chamanamde. By thinking the progressive component suffering, then it is said mental suffering. By thinking that, by thinking third suffering. Bande Chuta said, this trial called for gone beyond Buddha, said, suffering should be known, and the kunjung all rising, the cause should be abandoned. The cessation should be actualized. Say, actualize the cessation. Lam then, of course, to exercise cessation, then you have to exercise the path. So I forgot the word that goes on the path.
Practice,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a word. I forgot. Yeah, when the practice path, yeah. Yeah. So, what's that? So the Pandit Chikatapa, Dharma said, what Buddha said, suffering should be known. That suffering, one should think this third suffering. This third suffering, pervasive component suffering. Yeah, then he's going to explain the pendulum tree and the verses. All right. All the happiness, success for one, enlightenment for oneself, for every sentient binds, maybe exercise on the family members, one's own enemy, friend, distant. All the numberless helping, numberless hunger, numberless animal, numberless human being, numberless will, numberless, and those who have generated may be increased. Chanjo Sanjo Rinpoche Marje Apano Jeje Jeba Nyamba Meba Yo Kone Kondo Abewara Yo Chanjo Sanjo Rinpoche Marje Apano Jeje Jeba Nyamba Meba Kone Kondo Abewara Showa Chanjo Sanjo Rinpoche Ma jia wa na je ju zhen jie wa nyang ba me ba gong ne gong du a be wa shou. Emptiness go. Kondera je dunta meva da junde tende lo meva penza game rolo jawa lo jo gonde do abaji lo Dena kasore oda de kasore then benedicto da student then yeah those who left my promise whose names given them all those died and all the people died by virus. So many people. How many people died by virus totally in the world? How many million people? Huh? 4 million? Huh? 10 million? 5 million, okay. All those people died by virus, by million, all that. All those other people died under different conditions, all that. Everyone, so the Lama Zopa Rinpoche did 3-time marriage collected by yourself, collected by numberless number, Buddha. All Lama Zopa being the Guru in all the lifetimes to be direct Guru and never pleased from never separate away from the path. That is that's admirable. All the Buddhists never separate away. From all the people from the past. Admirable. All the Buddhas, as well as all the benefactors, all the students, and all the whose names are going to be all those living ones, same. All right, and then sentient Nepal, Nepal, Newton, Dharma, Tado Jungwa Mapper Show, sentient Nepal, Nepal, Newton, Dharma, Tado Jungwa Mapper Show, sentient Nepal, Nepal. Yudhanala tajujudanama tato jungwa mebara sho. All right. Oh, then guy now. Did all the paths of wisdom, 3-time marriage, 3-time marriage, numberless in them, numberless Buddhas. Any sentient thing, seeing me, hearing me, remembering me, touching me, that and then that innocent eyes, that I see, hear, remember, touch, just by that, may all their suffering be pacified immediately, and may they achieve perfect peace, happiness, including enlightenment, immediately. due to so everything exists in mere name, merely imputed by mind. So therefore, nothing. I do not exist from its own side. Action do not exist from its own side. Object do not exist from its own side. Samsara do not exist from its own side. Nirvana do not exist from its own side. Enlightenment do not exist from its own side. Hell do not exist from its own side. Happiness do not exist from its side. Suffering do not exist from its side. So all the things what exist do not exist from its own side. So with this awareness, due to the past, the present, future, marriage, numberless Buddhas, may the I achieve the Buddhahood, all lead the sentient beings to that Buddhahood, by myself alone. Jamman Bave Jita Jambada Kunda Sambodi Ante Jinta Jita Kundi Sundar Gavadita Tanjira Duango Sepe Javatam Tejungo Akana Chudan Kage Tavati Kinja Sambo Chesera Dungo Haraji Chiada Akamandira Pede Maleba Kalaju Samba Sangha. 'Cause 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 '